Hey everyone, and welcome to another marvelous video. The success of a good storyline depends on its characters. It's not just the heroes, but villains who also play an important role in contributing to the plot. While there are villains with no superpowers capable of bringing down cities and even the world, there are some who could wipe off entire realities. The recent DCAU film Crisis on Infinite Earth has been showcasing events that are destroying the entire multiverse, and in the center of it, we have the AntiMonitor. Although the comics introduced him in May 1985, it was solely the creation of Marv Wolfman and George Perez. As the title of today's video suggests, we'll be talking about the different versions of the AntiMonitor. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. AntiMonitor of the Antimatter Universe. When speaking of the Antimonitor, we mostly refer to this version of him. The character was introduced in May 1985's Crisis on Infinite Earths issue 2, and in the succeeding issue, we get to know about the origins of the divine entity. It all began in Oa, when Corona developed the means to witness the dawn of time. His effort led to an explosion for which he was soon sentenced to exist in the form of energy. However, the explosion had more to bring to the DC universe. It was the beginning of the multiverse, and all of the multitudes of its universes. While some of the Oans resorted to eradicating all evil, many didn't, which soon led to a civil war across Oa. The war ended with the malevolent ones leaving for the dimension of Quard, and the rest residing on Oa. The Antimonitor was born in this dimension on one of Quard's moons as a physical form of the great excess energy. The same happened on Oa, with the Monitor being born on one of Oa's moons. The Antimonitor soon began consuming the evil energy of the Antimatter universe and conquered Quard by force. He created an army of Thunderers capable of throwing lightning bolts, and the ones who proved to be his most loyal henchmen were altered into living shadows. Both the Monitor and the Antimonitor became aware of each other's existence, and the latter began his long crusade to destroy his counterpart. The war extended 1,000,000 years, and it ended with both Monitor and Antimonitor losing consciousness. 9 billion years later, the greatest scientist of all time, Pariah, came into existence, and his efforts led to the reawakening of the Antimonitor. Pariah wanted to learn the divine secrets of the origin of the universe, for which he created an Antimatter cube to observe the universe's origins. Despite a lot of objections from the universe's council, Pariah continued his experiments, and soon a gigantic hand reached from an infinite abyss and formed a new universe. During this, the Monitor and the Antimonitor were freed, following which the latter used the energy obtained from antimatter and destroyed Pariah's universe and drained its energy. The destruction of a positive matter universe helped the Antimatter universe to expand and make the Antimonitor stronger than ever. The Antimonitor then embarked on a mission to destroy all positive matter in the universe and become the ultimate powerful being. He spent 1,000,000 years in solitude in the antimatter chamber before beginning his act, which was the onset of the event Crisis on Infinite Earths. Crisis on Infinite Earths is one of the biggest crossover events of the DC universe and showcased the Monitor allying with the heroes of different realities to stop his evil counterpart. Antimonitor's antimatter waves kept consuming one reality after another, while the Monitor established huge vibrational towers on Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth S, Earth X, and Earth 4 that would phase them through the antimatter wave. Later, the Monitor allowed himself to be killed by a manipulated Harbinger and helped power up the towers. The Antimonitor next tasked his Shadow Legions to destroy the towers that were guarded by the villains and heroes united. Out of the villains, the second Psycho Pirate betrayed everyone by joining hands with the Antimonitor, who promised to give him a world he could manipulate. Barry Allen was also captured and handed over to Psycho Pirate for being tortured. Antimonitor tweaked Psycho Pirate's powers to a much higher magnitude and tasked him to manipulate the inhabitants of Earth S, Earth 4, and Earth X. Soon, chaos and composition engulfed the three realities until Harbinger, together with other heroes, defeated Psycho Pirate, draining away most of his power. The heroes of Earth 1 and Earth 2 entered the Antimatter universe, where Supergirl fought a weak Antimonitor. His outer shell was crushed and existing as a form of energy. He killed Supergirl and barely escaped and returned to one of his ships of living rock. There, he found Psycho Pirate and together planned to use his ultimate weapon, an antimatter cannon, to destroy the rest of the remaining realities. However, Flash arrived and destroyed the weapon once and for all at the cost of his life. With all his plans foiled, Antimonitor drained the antimatter energy of over 1,000,000 worlds and traveled back to the dawn of time. Later, when the heroes, aided by the Spectre, arrived at the dawn of time, they attacked Antimonitor with all their might. All of their efforts were in vain, as Antimonitor defeated them easily. The Antimonitor drained all their life forces in an attempt to alter history from the dawn of time. This was what Pariah and Corona had seen during their time of experimentation, and the hand from the abyss was that of the Antimonitors. However, Spectre arrived to stop the Anti-Monitor. With the help of all the powerful sorcerers, Spectre brought an end to the Anti-Monitor's meddling with time. Anti-Monitor was sent back to his Antimatter universe, and he soon deployed an army of shadow creatures to take Earth by force. Anti-Monitor next brought Earth into his world and faced the heroes, while the sorcerers contained all the shadow creatures inside a mystical sphere. After the combined efforts of Harbinger, Alexander Luthor, Pariah, and Dr. Light, Anti-Monitor was crushed into a floating rock. However, the fight wasn't over, as Anti-Monitor soon consumed the energies of the shadow creatures and blasted Earth 2's Wonder Woman into nothing. As the fight ensued, Anti-Monitor began growing weak, as the shadow creatures he'd consumed were poisoned by the sorcerers while they had them in prison. However, he was still strong enough to inflict powerful blows until everyone, including Darkseid, intervened. At the end of it, his energy form was only left for him. Anti-Monitor still didn't give up and attacked Superboy, Prime, Superman 2, and Alex, only to be shattered into molecules of incoherent energy by Superman of Earth 2. Anti-Monitor's remains were later used to recreate the destroyed worlds in the events of Infinite Crisis. Anti-Monitor, Guardian of Fear. After the re-establishment of the multiverse, the Anti-Monitor was reborn and began influencing Sinestro after the return of Hal Jordan. Anti-Monitor was a member of the Sinestro Corps and known as Guardian of Fear. He also recruited the cyborg Superman, Superman Prime, and Parallax, who was then possessing the body of Kyle Rayner, and made him his herald along with Sinestro. After the war between the Sinestro Corps and the Green Lantern Corps, when the Lost Lanterns went into the Antimatter universe to rescue Hal Jordan and save the Ion Power, they encountered the Anti-Monitor. He was at the base of his stronghold on Quad, where he was seemingly torturing the Ion entity. The combined might of the Lanterns forced Anti-Monitor to give up Ion Power, but he soon began pursuing them. Soon after, Earth was attacked by the Sinestro Corps, while the Anti-Monitor traveled to the planet aboard New Warworld with Sinestro. Sodam Yat and the other members of the Green Lantern Corps arrived to attack the Anti-Monitor, which led to the death of 2 Lanterns and a severely injured Daxamite Lantern. Anti-Monitor next arrived in New York and began draining its energy to create his antimatter waves before the Guardians of the Universe arrived. While Anti-Monitor fought the equally matched might of the Guardians, John Stewart and Guy Gardner brought down the entire New War World. While the Guardians helped trap the Anti-Monitor, they detonated the Yellow Lantern power battery next to him. The massive explosion didn't kill the Anti-Monitor, but destroyed his armor. However, he was soon attacked by the Superman Prime, who sought this moment to take his revenge on the Anti-Monitor, who destroyed his universe. Superman Prime flew straight through his chest and hurled his shattered body into space. Anti-Monitor, the power source of Black Lantern Battery. After being tossed into space, Anti-Monitor's glowing form crashed on a planet named Wreaked of Sector 666. Soon, a dark voice was heard. Being too weak to fight back, Anti-Monitor was then imprisoned in a Black Lantern central power battery. It was similar to the way Parallax was imprisoned inside the Green Lantern power battery. Meanwhile, a female Guardian called Scar, who was burned during the fight against the Sinestro Corps Anti-Monitor, tasked Green Lantern Ash of Sector 650 to retrieve the Anti-Monitor's corpse. After finding the Anti-Monitor's helmet, Ash estimated the trajectory and went toward the abandoned Sector 666. He was joined by Green Lantern Sarek, and after arriving on Wreaked, they found the Black Central Power Battery, but after touching it, they realized it had awakened something and planned on leaving immediately. As the two tried escaping, 2 monstrous hands appeared and dragged them into the planet. It was revealed that the female Guardian Scar had died long ago before the attack of the Anti-Monitor and operated as an undead. She was the Guardian of the Black Lantern Corps, and together with Necron, they imprisoned the Anti-Monitor in the Black Lantern Battery as its power source, showcased in the Blackest Night events. When the Black Lantern Battery was brought to Earth, Anti-Monitor was still inside, struggling to free himself. As he was on the verge of pulling himself out of the battery, all the different Lantern Corps began attacking him in order to depower the Black Lantern. After it was destroyed, Anti-Monitor was brought back to life but was banished to the Antimatter universe. Anti-Monitor from the Green Lantern, the animated series. With his origins slightly altered, the 2011's Green Lantern, the animated series, introduced its own version of the character. Created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez, he was introduced in Season 1, Episode 14, titled The New Guy. The series showcased Anti-Monitor to be created eons ago by a rogue Guardian called Corona. However, when the Anti-Monitor understood the knowledge of superiority over his creator, he tried transforming Corona into antimatter. Corona defeated him by managing to banish him into another dimension. In the new dimension, Anti-Monitor was unchallenged and eventually conquered it. Only one planet managed to escape after Lord Nigel Fortenberry, a wealthy resident of it, struck a deal with the Anti-Monitor. He promises to send him to another dimension full of matter for him to consume. Returning back to the universe he came from, Anti-Monitor landed on Biot and reactivated the Manhunters with his antimatter energy. As he tried to destroy Aya, the artificial intelligence of Interceptor, she transferred her consciousness into a dormant Manhunter. She later rebuilt herself with a new body body, and after absorbing the ship's power battery, she managed to decapitate the AntiMonitor. She then merged with the AntiMonitor's body to form AntiMonitor.
And in that inevitability, there is destiny.
AntiMonitor Arrowverse. The Arrowverse reached its climax during its own version of the Crisis event, in which the AntiMonitor was the main antagonist. The AntiMonitor came into existence after Mar-Novu, aka the Monitor, arrived in the temporal zone. The chronal radiation that began after his arrival transported him to the Netherverse, and the process somehow led to the creation of Mobius, or the AntiMonitor. Although Mar-Novu once had the opportunity to kill his evil doppelganger, he spared his life, which eventually became his biggest regret. Since then, Mobius, along with his shadow demons, has become one of the greatest threats to the multiverse. The AntiMonitor was once defeated and confined to an isolated chamber by Mar-Novu, but it still didn't stop him from working his goal of eradicating realities. In the chamber, AntiMonitor constructed an antimatter cannon that could eradicate realities in one go if it had the requisite power. Unfortunately, when Barry Allen of Earth 90 tried to charge toward the Monitor, he was repelled, and he ended up arriving at the reach of Mobius. AntiMonitor imprisoned Barry, making him run on a treadmill and generate power for the antimatter cannon. During a test run, the AntiMonitor, using the power of Flash, fired his cannon and eradicated Earth 2. After the long struggle between the heroes and the Monitor, Mobius managed to eradicate every reality, including Earth 1. Finally, it was Green Arrow who, with the use of Spectre's powers, managed to restore the multiverse. However, Spectre's powers fell short in destroying AntiMonitor. The heroes deduced that since AntiMonitor is made of antimatter, he can't be killed but destabilized. The knowledge couldn't bring much hope, as AntiMonitor soon overpowered every hero easily and declared his plans of destroying the restored multiverse. Harrison Wells, Ray Palmer, and Ryan Choi came up with a plan of developing a bomb that could shrink the AntiMonitor for eternity. They constructed the bomb while the heroes distracted the AntiMonitor. Ray handed over the bomb to Kara, and she blasted it on the AntiMonitor, sending him to the microverse forever.
The opposite of him. You're the Anti-Monitor.
Yes.
AntiMonitor Tomorrowverse. The Tomorrowverse AntiMonitor is the latest version of AntiMonitor and was showcased in Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2 animated film. The two parts of the trilogy that have been released focused on the Crisis event of DC. DCAU incorporated various changes from the source material, which included AntiMonitor's powers and appearance as well. AntiMonitor was introduced as an entity that had no idea of identity, except for the fact that he was completely opposite of the Monitor. It was Psycho Pirate who gave him the name AntiMonitor, clearly because of claims. There were a few more diversions from the comic. At the end of the second part of the trilogy, the Shadow Demons merged together to form a substantial gigantic being, which is believed to be the prototype of AntiMonitor's design. The being has an armor as well, and looks much different from the comics or the TV series. Also, Crisis 2 ended with AntiMonitor concentrating a blast, which is believed to be an antimatter bomb. This was new, as AntiMonitor was known to possess the antimatter cannon. However, even with all that said, we can get a better clarity of DCAU's AntiMonitor after the release of Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. Marvelous verdict. So, we've finally come to the end of the video, and we hope you've liked our content. Both the AntiMonitor and the Monitor are divine cosmic beings possessing unfathomable power and knowledge. One should read the comics to have a better idea of it. DCAU's run on Crisis has been going interesting so far, but we've yet to speculate how it'd stitch and suture all the parallel and non-linear events in the films. We've witnessed DCAU trim down the entire Injustice story arc, and we sincerely hope the same doesn't happen in Crisis. With all that said, thank you for watching the video till the end. Feel free to add your views in the comment section below, and stay tuned for the next Marvelous video. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.
And in that inevitability, there is destiny.